Welcome to Talking Masters Footy with Sue and Flea.
Two women talking all things AFL Masters, the stories, the people, and the love of footy that doesn't stop at 35.
And round one of season 2026 is done. We are officially back.
We are. And nothing quite like round one. Nerves, excitement, and how's the body going to hold up?
And for the Vic Metro Women's Masters competition, it was a great start to the season.
Yeah. We saw some fantastic games, some incredible effort, and plenty of moments that just remind you of why we love Masters footy.
So today, we're wrapping up round one, what stood out, who made impact, and we've got some great stories coming out of the weekend.
We'll also share some voices from the ground and give a few well-deserved shout-outs.
Because that's what this competition is all about, community, connection and footy for fun.
So, whether you played, supported, volunteered or you're just following along,
you're in the right place.
Let's
talk Masters footy. One day we'll get that right and surprise ourselves.
And we might never get it right.
True. Okay, so to start the wrap-up of round one, we want to talk about something really exciting happening in footy at the moment.
And that's non-contact football and the Footy Rush program.
Now, what's really important to say here is that Vic Metro Women's Masters has actually been playing non-contact footy for a few years already.
Exactly. So this isn't brand new for us. It's something we've been developing and growing within the women's game, really.
And now this year, AFL Vic Metro Masters are teaming up with AFL Vic to trial Footy Rush, which is really exciting.
So, what is Footy Rush? Well, essentially, it's a structured non-contact version of AFL.
So you get the skills, the game sense, the teamwork.
But without the tackling and the heavy contact.
And this is where it's such a great fit for Masters footy.
Yeah, well, basically it opens up the game to more people.
Yep, so people coming back to footy, complete beginners, people managing injuries.
Or people who just want to enjoy the game without the physical side.
Absolutely. And it's worth saying that Vic Metro Masters have really been leading the way in this space.
Yeah, true. And this isn't just us catching up. It's building something that has already been happening, and it's not just talk either. So this year we actually have 5 teams in an actual non-contact competition, which is fantastic.
And the action began on the weekend with the first 2 games played at 9 a.m, bright and early, at Merv Hughes Oval in Footscray. And can I just say, as usual, the sun was out for non-contact.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens to us. Eastern Warriors played Brunswick Mudlarks, and congratulations to Renata Johnson for kicking Eastern Warriors' first goal and doing an impressive back roll over when she fell later on the ground in the game, and also for all the very first time players. Next, or alongside us, Williamstown played Parkside Spurs. Well done cheer at Williamstown for pulling back on the boots after a nasty injury last year. It's great to have a safe space to do that. Carrum had the bye for round one as they were still concentrating on getting their first ever women's team out on the ground.
So who won? Not the most important thing. The most important thing, of course, is getting women out in the field and playing footy for absolute fun.
After the games, we spoke to a couple of first gamers to get their reactions. And first up, we have Sue talking with H from Eastern Warriors. We've called her H because we have 2 Helens, and it became very confusing. So she's H, and she loves it. Yeah.
All right, rolling. Hi, Helen, or H as we call you. How did your first game of AFL footy go?
I think it went well. I loved it actually. Once you get over those sort of nerves coming into the game and, you know, the first time you touch the ball or the ball comes near you. Once you sort of settle into it and, you know, remember the things that you've learned at practice and have a bit of a breath and work out what's going on, it was great. I absolutely loved it.
And so you said you were a bit nervous. When did the nerves start? Were you nervous last night?
Oh, to be honest, so the nerves probably started after training on Wednesday. When you have a bit of a rough training and you think, geez, am I up for this? And then it sort of compounds all week. So, yeah, it was a bit of a nervous night last night and nervous morning this morning, but I think I'm good to go now. So it was great. Yeah,
how good does it feel when you do something that you've probably always wanted to do and then you finally do it?
Oh, it's amazing. You know, there's that sort of step that you take when you do something new for the first time, and that's sort of turning up at training. That next step is, right, can I put some of this into practice? Can I actually have a go? Yep. And it's pretty amazing. It feels good.
Feels good. And how does it feel being part of a team?
Oh, that's the best part of it. Whether, you know, the team, through even playing against Brunswick, who we played against today, the spirit, everyone's supporting each other. You know, everyone's happy when there's a great piece of play. You know, we're all cheering each other on. We're all looking out for each other. That's probably the best part of it. It doesn't matter whether you win or you kick a goal or you do a great mark, but it's great to celebrate those successes. It's amazing.
And what do you think was your personal best thing you did today?
I think, look, trying to dial into some of that stuff that we've practiced at training. So, you know, maintaining those positions, staying on the man, and some of that defensive sort of work. I think my defence was pretty good. Today, I did take a couple of decent catches today. A couple of them were disallowed, but that's okay. And an attempt or two at goal. So that's all right. I think for a first game, that's pretty good. But I'm pretty happy with how I defended today. It was good.
Okay, well done. And
thank you.
Congratulations on joining an AFL footy team.
Thanks, Sue.
And then Flea had a chat with one of the Mudlarks players.
Okay, hi. Now tell me who you are and where you're from.
I'm Erica Hall and I had my first game with the Brunswick Mudlarks non-contact.
Excellent. Were you nervous?
Oh my gosh, yes. Equal parts excitement and nervousness, I think, because you don't want to let the team down.
Yeah.
And I didn't know what I was doing.
How do you feel now the game's over?
Oh my gosh, it was so much fun. Like, honestly, like the community spirit, the team spirit, it's such an encouraging, like joyful experience. And
yeah.
It was great playing against the other team. They were so nice. So yeah, and it went so fast, like so fast. So it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. I'm so glad.
Absolutely rapt to hear that. And how did you get into it? How did you find your team?
So actually, a lady that I work with, she played contact last year, and she was kind of like always having a bit of like, you should come down, you should come and play. So what we agreed is that I'll come down and train. I don't think it's for me. I don't think I could do the contact. It didn't help that one day she rocked up to work with a broken finger, 2 black eyes and a mangled nose.
Yeah, that would do it for me.
It was friendly fire. It was just an unfortunate accident. And I don't think this is for me. And then when there was a non-contact option, I was like, okay, maybe I can do that. So yeah, and it's nice because the training is great, but it's nothing like playing in the game.
Yeah.
And, you know, passing the ball, and one of my teammates got her first goal, and I felt like it was my goal. Like I was maybe more excited than she was.
Yeah.
It was wonderful.
So it looks like you got a fair bit of the ball too.
Oh, yeah. Look, I think again, great team, like feeding the ball to me, and we did some lots of training as well in terms of picking the ball up off the ground and learning how to handball and kick. So yeah, I was just. I don't know, I threw myself into it, I guess.
Okay, so you'll be back in 2 weeks?
Oh my God, absolutely, yes. It was just the best. So
Awesome. And you guys got the win, so congratulations.
Oh, thank you. That's great to hear. I didn't even know.
Yeah. Oh, well, anyway, great to meet you. Welcome aboard and sign up to our podcast.
Yeah, I will.
Follow.
Thank you so much.
You will. Yeah.
So 5 teams. Game's underway and people clearly loving it.
It's a pretty exciting place to be playing women's Masters footy right now.
And that energy definitely carried into the contact competition as well.
let's go around the grounds for round 1 of AFL Vic Metro Women's Masters.
And when we say around the grounds, we just mean 2 grounds. Vic Metro Women's Masters play in a carnival style each round, so we can foster that community feel. Each ground hosts 3 games of footy, with Run Ground also hosting the non-contact. We also get to play a couple of rounds this year where all the teams are at the same venue.
So let's start with Division 1, which saw all teams playing at Merv Hughes Oval in Footscray, and thanks actually to hosts Parkside Spurs. Became pretty obvious there was definitely a scoring end, with a very sharp wind blowing towards the city end.
Canteen highlights. Always important in community football.
Yeah.
I had a really good egg and bacon roll, which went down a treat, and the hot chips and gravy were pretty popular too.
Yeah, they were. So, game 1, which was Port Melbourne versus Williamstown. So scores were Port Melbourne 16-7, 103, defeated Williamstown 1 point. Look, a bit of a tough start for Williamstown coming up against the 2025 Premiership winners. Fair to say school holidays and probably gather round put a bit of a dent in the Williamstown side, who most definitely will improve from here. Williamstown never gave up and played hard to the end, which is what Masters footy is all about.
Then game 2, Parkside Spurs, 2 goals 4-16, were defeated by Mordialloc 4 goals 8-32. It was a hard-fought game by both sides. Mordialloc are definitely keen to go that one step further in 2026 after their close grand final loss against Port Melbourne last year.
Yeah, so game 3 was Box Hill North versus Carrum Cowgirls. The final score was Box Hill 3 goals 18, and they were defeated by the Cowgirls 6 goals 3-39. So at this point, congratulations to Carrum on their first women's game and win in the competition. Box Hill North came out hard in the first quarter, kicking with the wind, but Carrum found their stride as the game progressed.
Yeah, I had a brief chat with the Carrum coach before the game. He probably remembers nothing of that. They have got an amazing 44 registered players, with about half of them playing footy before. So they're pretty keen to have a great first year in the competition, and I think they definitely will. We look forward to seeing them playing the non-contact game next round.
Yeah. So then we cross to our second ground, which is Crispy Park, and that's where the hosts being Northside Lions. So I'm not sure what their canteen was like, haven't heard from anyone. However, we do have the results for round 1 of Division 2.
So in game 1, Wyndham, 10 goals 12-72, defeated Darebin Falcons, 0-3 points. A great win to Wyndham, formerly known as Werribee. We all know how good Darebin are though, and they can vary from week to week with who's available to play. So I'm sure we'll see a lot of improvement from them as the season progresses.
So game 2 at Crispy Park was Northside Lions and Brunswick Mudlarks. So the final score was Northside Lions, no score, were defeated by the Mudlarks 2-12-24. Northside fought hard actually and were able to get the ball into their 50, but basically had difficulty converting. Exciting news for Northside with Sylvia playing 50 games. Sylvia is the first female at Northside to make 50 club games, so well done, fantastic effort. Northside's best on ground were Susan Taylor, Sheena D'Souza, Julie Shear, Mari Napoli and Laurel Irving. So Mudlarks have had a great start to the season, obviously, the season 2026, and they're building on their base that they started, which last year being their first season.
And we've got some more on Mudlarks coming up soon.
Yep.
Then the final game out at Crispy Park, Sunbury Lions, 2-1-13, were defeated by Peninsula Raiders, 12-7-79. A very big welcome to the competition to Sunbury Lions. It's a huge feat getting a team up from scratch. Congratulations to Nicole Brown for kicking their first ever goal and Natalie East for being their best on ground. It's exciting to see Peninsula Raiders playing so well in just their second season as a standalone team. Also, love it when you have to read the words of the song.
Yeah.
And we can't forget to mention the changes for season 2026. So we've gone from 18 players aside to 16 aside on the ground and 18-minute quarters, up from 15 minutes. Talking to a few players, that extra 3 minutes a quarter might not sound like much, but it took its toll, especially if you didn't have a bench. So a few people out there thinking, right, I think I need to improve my fitness a bit more.
Yeah. Well, and speaking of changes, of course, non-contact in the rush footy format is actual 4 quarters of footy,
Yes.
4 12-minute quarters, which up until last, is that right?
10.
4 10-minute quarters. But last year, whilst we played 4 quarters, the first quarter was warm-up. So fair to say some of our girls were feeling 4 full quarters of playing. But
Absolutely.
they'll catch up. Okay, so let's look at our club of the round. This round we have a look at Brunswick Mudlarks. The Mudlarks, or the Muddies, as they like to call themselves, were founded in 1994. In 2025, they entered their inaugural women's over 35s team, and in 2026 they've added a women's non-contact team as well. The club also has men's teams in the 35s, 45s, 50s and 55s, so they've got a really good player base. Their home ground is located in Parkville at 750 Park Street, and they train on Wednesday nights from 6 to 6:30. Well,
6 to 6:30? I reckon that's a bit of a typo.
I reckon they arrive at 6 for 6:30 start, probably goes through to 7:38. But I think that probably is.
I think it's meant to read 6 to 7:30.
Yeah.
So if you're out Parkville Way, always recruiting, men's, women's, hop on down and check it out.
Because
So
they have a non-contact to start if you're a bit unsure.
absolutely. So Peter sent us a fabulous game report from round 1. And so I'm just going to read from that. So in just our second season, the Mudlarks contact team welcomed an exciting influx of new players and support staff, adding even more depth and strength to an already powerful roster. Peter Price stepped up once again as both player and coach, with Vay Lamalga joining the program as assistant coach to further support the group. And sorry if I've said your name wrong, it's my special talent. We fielded 19 players for round 1 clash against Northside, with several debutants making their mark. Kira, voted and named co-captain, Shelley, Mammy and Lani. We also welcomed Ian as our new team trainer, adding valuable support off the field.
Peter goes on to say a little bit about the game itself. So the first half was defined by nerves, and while our midfield was strong with solid clearances and a high number of inside 50 entries, we struggled to capitalise on the scoreboard, finishing the half with 1 goal and 4 behinds. And fair to say, for Melbourne, it was our first probably really wintry, windy, cold, drizzly morning. So I think both grounds were probably affected by that. The second half showed a clear shift. The team began to connect, moving the ball with more confidence and converting more effectively going forward. Our kicking and marking improved significantly, and the running effort across the ground was outstanding. We added another goal and 8 behinds, with goals kicked by co-captain Deb, with both goals kicked by co-captain Deb, who led strongly from the front. A special mention to our backline, who were exceptional in shutting down Northside's forward entries and keeping them scoreless for the entire game. It was a well-earned win, and more importantly, a strong foundation for us to build from. Our view is that every game presents an opportunity to learn, adjust and grow. We were incredibly excited for what's ahead this season. We are excited to see what's ahead for the Muddies too.
All right. Flea, moment of the round for you.
Well, I thought about this, and there's some little moments that were quite exciting, from mustics for breakfast, yay, to Spurs' famous chips and gravy, and they lived up to their reputation. I was talked into that. Fabulous. And then I thought maybe our first goal kicker of the year, who was Renata. Congrats, Renata. But I think when I think about the day, ultimately it was really as simple as arriving at the ground. As everyone was arriving, getting out of their car, seeing all those familiar faces that you haven't seen since, either Carnival or Grand Final last year. And just reconnecting with everyone who's there with one goal for the day, and just basically, it's a fantastic feeling, and I think that's what stands out to me from round one. What about you, Sue? What's your...
Yeah, well, I love that community aspect is one of the most important things. So mine was, well, after, the last few years of organising the non-contact, was rocking up and not having to organise the non-contact.
Stride that field out, one of Sue's meters.
So AFL Vic, setting up the fields, doing all the umpiring, fantastic.
Yep.
But probably the highlight was the whole of the non-contact teams all warming up together. And, that's what we're striving to create with non-contact, is a real community of women who enjoy what they're doing.
Yeah. So that would have been about 40 women?
Yeah,
Warming
absolutely.
up together for non-contact.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. I think it just sums up what Masters footy is all about, really.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a fantastic day. I loved it. So let's give a few shout-outs as well. So, firstly, our hosts, Parkside Spurs and Northside Lions, thank you so much. Everything was fantastic. Welcome to Carrum and Sunbury to the competition and the Masters community. To the umpires doing their first game of the Masters season, and of course, last but definitely not least, all the volunteers who get the teams onto the ground each week.
And also, a really big shout out to any first time players. Getting through round one is no small thing.
Yeah. Round one is always about finding your feet after a bit of a layoff, or, your first time.
Yeah, so talking about shout outs, if you've got a shout out, a player, a volunteer, a great moment, send it through to us. You'll find the link in our bio. Now, I'm going to have to admit, I had to look up what link in our bio meant. Still a bit vague about it, but it means you'll find the link in our social pages.
Yeah. So do that. Do that if you want to have a shout out from round one. Absolutely. And what we'll do is we'll feature them on our show. So get on board. We want to hear from you.
Yep. Because this isn't about me and Flea, much as we like to talk about ourselves. It's about everyone. Oh, okay, no, you're still there.
Okay, unless it's yours.
You might have gone a bit sort of pixelated-y for a second. You're looking a bit pixelated at the moment.
Okay. It's better than looking at my wrinkles.
Yeah, true. It hides them. Your face just blends into the brick wall in the background because it's pixelated.
Oh. Brick face.
Oh dear. All right.
It look
so
like a Lego.
Yeah, you're coming back to reality though. So looks like we're in for a great season.
Yeah.
There's already great energy across the competition,
and we can't wait to see how it builds from here.
So let's take a look at round two. All clubs will be playing at Williamstown's home ground on Anzac Day, Saturday the 25th of April, And that's WLJ Cross Reserves in Black Shores Road in Altona North. So we're kicking off the day with women's non-contact / footy rush at 9 a.m. Arrive around 8:30, group warm up at about 8:45. Doesn't give a lot of time to get yourself sorted.
Yep.
Do that
That's
at training.
If you're not having to get there super early to set up.
Yep, true. So game 1 is Williamstown versus Carrum, and game 2 is Brunswick versus Parkside. And Eastern Warriors have the bye, but we're still going to be there. You can't get rid of us that easy. We're going to play an intra-club game because we don't want to miss out on gather round and seeing everybody in the one place.
No, we don't. Division 1, 10 a.m, Williamstown versus Carrum Cowgirls. 10:15, Box Hill North versus Parkside Spurs. 12 p.m, Mordialloc versus Port Melbourne.
And then we've got...
Sorry. Go.
Yeah, that's okay. We've got Div 2, 10:30, Northside versus Darebin. 12:15, Brunswick versus Sunbury. And I'm not quite sure on this last time slot, unless they're going to use the 3 ovals. But they've got scheduled currently 12:30 p.m, Wyndham versus Peninsula. Well, I reckon that's a wrap on round 1 of AFL Vic Metro's Women's Masters.
What a great way to start the season. Great footy, great energy, catching up with old friends and making new ones.
Talking about new ones, I had someone come up to me and go, "I know you." And I looked at them and went, "Oh, do you?" And she went, "Yeah, I've been watching your podcasts." And I went, "Oh, how fantastic." So you never know. We're becoming famous in our old age, Flea, or infamous. But yeah, definitely come up and say hello. We're always happy to have a chat. And now I've lost my train of thought. No, I've got it back.
You're excited to see growth in non-contact footy. That's what you are.
It's also very exciting to see the growth in non-contact footy.
And programs like Footy Rush, basically building on what Women's Masters have already been doing.
5 teams, games underway, and more people getting involved in the game.
That's what it's all about.
And don't forget, we want to hear from you.
Yep, if you've got a shout out from round 1, a player, volunteer, a great moment,
send it through to us using the link in our bio. Once I figure out how to do it.
Do you know what a link in a bio is, Sue?
Oh, it's technology. I'm in my 60s.
Tell the people. Come on.
It is a link that you can find in our social media. So our Facebook page, Talking Masters Footy.
Yeah.
And also we've got Insta as well.
Yeah, I don't have Insta, so I can't help you there.
So send it through to us using the link in our bio.
And we'll feature it on the podcast. You too can be famous.
Next episode, we'll be back with round 2.
And more stories from around the grounds.
Until then,
look after your body.
Enjoy the footy. Footy for fun. And we're just getting started. Oh dear.
Thanks everyone. Thanks for listening.